So why cosmetic? Why Botox? Why fillers? Why injection? How did that thought even come into your brain?
So when you're talking Botox, fillers, cosmetic, aesthetics, I have freedom, which is what I wanted. My two boys are my priority. So I get to make my own schedule. I do my own hours. I see my patients. I have a good rapport and relationship with them. So if I need time off, I can take time off to be with my kids.
Hey, I'm Louis the Laser Guy, and welcome to my podcast, Pursue Your Passion. Join me on my journey as we discover how estheticians, nurses, physicians, and complete career changers are living their passion in this booming billion-dollar medical aesthetics industry. Finding your purpose isn't only about making great money, it's about so much more. It's about tapping into your passions and chasing your dreams.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to National Laser Institute podcast. I'm here with my nurse friend, Amber. During college, you said, I'm going to be a nurse.
At some point, yes. I knew I wanted to help people.
Love it. And just out of curiosity, what was your first nursing job? Were you in a hospital? Like, what were you doing?
My first nursing job was the hospital. I was a float nurse, so worked on many units. Like all over. Mm-hmm.
You just kind of bounce around helping out everybody.
So it's good because you find your area. You find what you like and what you don't like.
Right. And what did you find that you liked?
I loved surgery.
Okay.
Loved surgery.
Was it regular general surgery or cosmetic surgery or what kind?
A mixture of both.
Very, very cool. So you're plugging along, you're a nurse, and at that point, were you married with kids or?
I was not married and I did not have kids.
Okay, so I think you told me that. Did you adopt your first child?
Yes. So our oldest son, Chance, my sister actually gave birth to, and we adopted him. We received custody of him the same week that I had my son, John. So 5 years.
Wow, so that was a busy year, huh?
Very.
Now, how old are your kids now?
5 and 7.
5 and 7. That's impossible because you look like you're 23, but that means you must be older than 23, my dear.
That's the Botox.
Oh, yeah.
33.
You're a cheater. Okay,
33.
So. All right, so I met you. How long ago did I meet you? When you took the training class, I met you in Scottsdale, Arizona. How long ago was that?
Right at 2 years, I think. Yeah, 2 years ago.
Okay, so what made you wake up one day and get out of bed and say, you know what? I'm not feeling it with traditional nursing anymore. I want to do something different. Like how did that evolve?
It was literally one day I was with a patient. It wasn't going well. And I said, I never want to do CPR again in my life.
You said, no more nursing. You're burnt out.
No more. After 5 years of school, no more. I'm done.
So how does something go from being so exciting and rewarding in the beginning to kind of a burnout 5 years later? You tell me.
So when I started, we'd have 3 patients. And when I was leaving nursing, we'd have 6 to 8. So at that point, the staffing, the safe nurse to patient ratios weren't there. And I kind of felt like working in the hospitals, if something goes wrong, I'm going to be the one thrown under the bus. So it was a liability on my license at that point and on my mental state, because the last thing you want is for a patient to get hurt or die. And it's out of your control because you have 6 to 8 patients. I felt like I wasn't a nurse at that point. I was somebody that would chart in their 50 systems and I would hand out meds, but I wasn't helping anybody. And that's not why I became a nurse.
How did you find National Laser?
So funny story. I went to local classes here in Indiana, and then I went to Chicago. Both of those, I did not feel safe enough to inject after. And I told myself I would not inject or touch a patient until I knew with 100%, I knew what I was doing. If something went wrong, I knew how to take care of it. Those are my 2 big things. So after those courses, I still did not feel prepared. In talking with some injectors online that I followed, they kept recommending National Laser Institute. So I looked into it, booked it, went out there. I was there a week and a half. And let me tell you, it is the first time I had a course on occlusions. Out of all of the training I paid for, it was disheartening that people that had done classes with me in Indy and in Chicago started injecting after and had never even heard the word occlusion.
Yeah, for those that don't know what that is, could you explain it real quick?
So an occlusion, what you have to watch is with fillers. There's a couple ways to get an occlusion, but you can actually inject filler into a vessel, an artery, occlude it, which means there's no blood flow. So you're going to get skin necrosis. You can get blindness. I mean, it can cause death. It is serious. Right. And it's amazing how many people are not educated on that. And I knew about it, but I was not taught properly until I came to Scottsdale. And it's scary. People are injecting and don't even understand that.
On a 1 to 10, how was your experience? Be honest.
3,000.
Yay.
Like, I love it. And I wanted to stay. I felt like even after a week and a half, the instructors that are there are so knowledgeable, and there was so much hands-on training. It was their personal history with injectables that I learned the most from. They weren't reading from a book. They weren't following this curriculum. They're knowledgeable, and they can teach you appropriately. They also give you room to inject with your own style, which I liked. I was with Jika majority of the time I was there. I still have a great relationship with her. She's somebody I recommend to everybody because she'll show you her way, but she wants you to learn your own. And I appreciated that.
Awesome. So you finish the course, you hop on a plane back to Indiana, and then what?
So then I started taking patients finally. I felt safe enough when I left there that I knew I had what I needed in a safety kit if things went wrong. I knew what to watch for. I felt safe to inject. So we opened our doors and started seeing patients 2 years and 3 months ago.
And that must have been scary, like a new business and, you know, putting yourself on the line. And what if I don't make it? What if it doesn't work? That's like freaky, right?
It was very nerve-wracking. And going into it, you know, when we went to Scottsdale, you had came and talked to us about the business aspect of it. And that is, again, something that no other place training had done with us, was sat down and actually discuss the business aspect. Because you have to know how to run a business to run an aesthetics company. I mean, common sense, you can't just inject. Right. So having that knowledge in my brain, having marketing knowledge, which we also went over at NLI a lot, I kind of hit the ground running with it, I felt like. We went right into lives. We did a ton of lives on social media. We were posting pictures. We were doing tags. We looked at, you know, the best times to do the posts. All of those things you have to methodically do with marketing.
How did the business evolve? Like, you started out with 3 clients and 10, and how many clients do you have now?
So we started in a small one-room shop with right at 18 clients. We grew out of that shop within 4 months and moved to a new space. We now have a 5-room suite. We have since grown out of it, so we are moving again. We now have right at 3,200 clients.
Wow, jeez, if I had known that, I would have sent in my application for you to be my Botox sugar mama or something, you know?
Yeah, it grew so fast. And I love that every day we're getting people from further away. Like, that just proves that I was taught correctly.
So for nurses out there, you know, RNs or NPs or PAs that are, you know, in that hospital doctor nurse room, they're thinking about this, they're checking it out, they're kind of exploring, you know, what would be your words of wisdom? I absolutely suggest everybody go to NLI. Anybody that were to message and ask, you know, how did you learn your way? How did you grow your company? There's one place I recommend every time because I know my value and I know what I learned there. Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, my dear. It's nice to hear your success story. It's always fun talking to nurses and doctors and laser techs that are chasing their dreams and doing something for themselves. So you're awesome. Let's stay in touch. You look great, and continued success to you.
Thank you so much for everything. Like, I adore you and Jika and everybody there, and I can't wait to be back for further training.
Thank you for listening to the Pursue Your Passion podcast. Are you interested in learning more about the medical aesthetics industry? Well, feel free to visit us online at nationallaserinstitute.com or connect with us on Facebook or Instagram. I'm Louis the Laser Guy, and we'll see you next week.